Can philodendron xanadu grow in water? Philodendron xanadu can grow in water, but it's not the ideal growing medium for this plant. While it may survive for a while in water, it's best to plant it in a well-draining potting mix to ensure proper root health and growth. How big do philodendron xanadu grow? The size of philodendron xanadu can vary depending on its growing conditions and care. In general, it tends to grow to a moderate size, with its leaves typically reaching around 2 to 3 feet in length, and the overall plant forming a compact, bushy shape. How often to water philodendron xanadu? When it comes to watering philodendron xanadu, it's important to strike the right balance. While they prefer consistently moist soil, they don't like to sit in waterlogged conditions, which can lead to root rot. I typically water mine when the top inch or so of soil feels dry to the touch, usually about once a week during the growing season and less frequently in winter. How to care for philodendron xanadu? Caring for philodendron xanadu involves providing it with bright, indirect light and a warm, humid environment. It's best to place it near a window where it can receive plenty of filtered sunlight, but avoid direct sunlight, which can scorch its leaves. Regular misting or using a humidifier can help maintain the humidity levels it prefers. How to propagate philodendron xanadu? Propagating philodendron xanadu can be done through stem cuttings. Simply take a cutting from a healthy stem, making sure it has at least one node, and place it in a container of moist potting mix or water. Keep the cutting in a warm, bright location, and roots should start to develop within a few weeks. Is philodendron xanadu an indoor plant? Yes, philodendron xanadu is commonly grown as an indoor plant due to its compact size and attractive foliage. It's well suited to indoor environments, where it can thrive in the relatively stable conditions found in homes and offices. Is philodendron xanadu poisonous to cats? Fortunately, philodendron xanadu is considered toxic to cats if ingested. This worried me at first, but I've managed by keeping it in a place where my cat can't reach, ensuring her safety while still enjoying the beauty of the plant in my home. Is philodendron xanadu toxic to dogs? While philodendron xanadu is not listed as toxic to cats, it's always a good idea to monitor pets around houseplants and avoid allowing them to ingest any part of the plant. Some cats may be attracted to chewing on plant leaves out of curiosity, so it's best to keep potentially harmful plants out of reach. How to repot a philodendron xanadu? To propagate philodendron xanadu, you can use stem cuttings taken from a healthy plant. Make sure the cutting has at least one node, and place it in a container of moist potting mix or water. Keep the cutting in a warm, bright location, and roots should develop within a few weeks. Where to buy philodendron xanadu? When repotting a philodendron xanadu, choose a pot that's slightly larger than its current one and has good drainage holes. Carefully remove the plant from its old pot, gently loosen any compacted roots, and place it in the center of the new pot. Fill in around the roots with fresh potting mix and water thoroughly to settle the soil. Why is my philodendron xanadu turning yellow? You can buy philodendron xanadu from a variety of sources, including nurseries, garden centers, and online retailers. Look for healthy plants with vibrant foliage and well-established root systems to ensure the best chance of success. Philodendron xanadu versus Selim. My little xanadu sits happily on my bookshelf, its glossy, deep green leaves adding a pop of life to that corner. It's never caused a fuss, content with moderate watering and the occasional misting. But recently, I saw a philodendron Selim at the plant store, its massive leaves reaching out like welcoming arms. While tempting for the drama, I know my xanadu's manageable size is perfect for my space, and I wouldn't want the responsibility of wrestling a giant houseplant. Philodendron xanadu versus deja vu. Both the xanadu and deja vu have those beautiful, deeply lobed leaves, but the texture is what truly sets them apart. My xanadu has a smooth, almost waxy feel, cool to the touch. It's a pleasure to run my fingers along the edges, a calming ritual I find myself doing throughout the day. The deja vu, on the other hand, boasts a fuzzy, velvety texture. While undeniably interesting, it doesn't quite give me the same sense of peace as the xanadu's coolness. Philodendron xanadu versus monstera. My xanadu and my monstera are like roommates with very different personalities. The xanadu is the low-maintenance one, happy to just chill and grow at its own pace. The monstera, however, is a thrill seeker, constantly putting out new leaves with those dramatic splits. I find myself fussing over the monstera more, checking its soil moisture and providing support for its ambitious growth. While I love the monstera's unique look, the xanadu wins for its easygoing nature. Philodendron xanadu versus Shangri-La. My xanadu is a bushy little wonder, but it wouldn't be the best choice for filling a large empty corner. That's where the philodendron Shangri-La comes in, its cascading vines promising a lush, overflowing look. While the xanadu adds a touch of greenery, the Shangri-La would create a whole statement piece. However, I also know cascading vines require more attention in terms of training and support. So, for now, my xanadu remains my champion, perfectly suited for its spot on the bookshelf.